Uh-oh.
In her last two fights. Good way hitting him from that way down.
Welcome to the motherfucking relay. We're covering today's top boxing news.
Okay, we'll start with this. This just in. Has been announced that 3-division and 5-time world champion Yoka Valle has signed a multi-year contract extension with Goldenboy Promotions, who will continue to promote her in this region of the world, meaning you will be able to continue to see her fights on the DAZN platform. Yoka Valle, who earlier this year rebounded off her loss to Senicia Estrada in her native Costa Rica with Ramandeep Kaur, who she stopped in 2 rounds.
So after the Senicia Estrada fight, after that fight, Yokasta decided she wants a new corner, wants to make some changes. She's not being trained by Coach G anymore, she's being trained by Coach Panda. That's the same Coach Panda that trains William Zepeda.
Sporting a professional record of 31 wins with 3 losses, no draws, 10 knockouts, having never been knocked out in 34 professional fights, Yoka Valle is one of the most accomplished women fighters out there, last in action in July of this year.
It's a good omen.
A good sign that Yokasta didn't let a lot of time pass before she returned to the ring. She lost the fight to Senicia in March of this year, rebounded off the loss in July. She might fight one more time before this year is out. She does a very good job of keeping herself active, keeping herself busy. She fought 3 times last year. I think she might fight 3 times this one.
After that fight with Senicia, you saw Yokasta Valle talking about a rematch. You saw Yokasta talking about running it back. In truth, it turned out to be a more competitive fight than I thought it was going to be. Yokasta handled herself really well. So well, some people think she should have won.
Because she didn't get blown out, because it wasn't a demoralizing loss, Yokasta doesn't feel defeated, dejected.
That's why she came back so fast.
I don't think she's going to get that rematch with Senicia Estrada, at least not in the near future. The last I heard when it comes to Senicia is she's going to be moving up from minimum weight up to light flyweight, and she's going to take on Daniela Bermudez for Daniela's 2 titles in the light flyweight division.
A rematch doesn't seem to be in the cards.
Senicia Estrada seems to be all but done in the minimum weight division. She seems to be moving up, and you figure that if that's what she's going to do, she's going to drop all the belts she won. She's going to drop all those alphabet titles, at which point Yoka Valle can pick them up.
Become a champion again.
Without Senicia Estrada there to give Yoka Valle a challenge, Yoka Valle herself would be the best in show. Yoka Valle would have the run of the place, the minimum weight division.
Without Senicia there.
And without Senicia there, Yoka Valle would be the only minimum weight with a major promotional outfit behind her, fighting on a major platform and continuing to bring attention and money to the minimum weight division. This would funnel all of the challengers and what other champions might arise once Senicia drops all those belts. This would funnel all of them over to Yokasta, because Yokasta would be the only fighter with any real money behind her.
And any sort of following. Yokasta is a star in her native Costa Rica. She draws well down there.
Between the following that she's amassed over time in her native Costa Rica and the promotional efforts of Goldenboy Promotions here in America, she would be the only fighter at that weight with any kind of money and any kind of real promotion behind her.
To make things happen.
Getting in position to fight for an alphabet title will be relatively easy for Yoka Valle, and I'm 100% sure she will be a champion again. Now, whether or not she'll get a rematch with Senicia, that's another matter.
Goldenboy Promotions have made the decision to re-sign her. Yokasta's not the only female fighter they have under contract. They also have IBF flyweight champion Gabriela Fundora.
I wonder if they're still doing any business with Marlene Esparza. We've heard very little about Marlene since she dropped that decision to Gabriela Alaniz. another matter, but Goldenboy Promotions is still doing their part to help promote women's boxing. You wonder that they might not also sign Yokasta Valle's younger sister, Naomi Valle. She's an unbeaten up-and-comer. She's climbing up the ranks. She's got talent too.
Earlier this week, we heard about a Latino night that Goldenboy Promotions is putting together with the help of His Excellency, Mr. Turkey El Sheikh. I think we already know about 4 or 5 of the fights that are going to be on that card. You wonder that Yokasta won't be on that show as well. She'd fit right in.
You also wonder that if by some chance Yokasta fights on that show, is it going to be a title fight? Is it going to be for an alphabet title?
We'll see.
But this is good news. Men's super lightweight and welterweight news. Eddie Hearn says Devin Haney is taking the Ryan Garcia fight rough.
The loss that has since been overturned. Devin Haney is once again an unbeaten fighter, at least on paper. But is he unbeaten psychologically?
Eddie Hearn believes Devin Haney is having a rough time following an overturned defeat to Ryan Garcia. Haney, 31-0 with 15 KOs, maintained his unbeaten record despite initially suffering a 12-round majority decision loss to Garcia, 24-1 with 20 KOs. In a WBC super lightweight title defense, Garcia tested positive for Osterin, a performance-enhancing drug, in tests conducted by VADA. Despite maintaining his innocence, Garcia was banned for a year by the New York State Athletic Commission, and the result of their fight was changed to a no contest. Haney, 25, has yet to reveal plans regarding a potential return to the ring, and Matchroom's Hearn, his promoter for the fights with Regis Prograis and Ryan Garcia, told All the Smoke Fight, "I think he's taking it rough. Honestly, like you know, it's a tough one.
The realization that you're not perfect.
The realization that you can be gotten to. The realization that maybe you're not as good as you thought you were, as good as people think you are. That realization, maybe it's that.
Or maybe it's that boxing is a dirty business, a dirty game.
That realization. Eddie Hearn continued, again, because of what he went through physically in that fight, and also, the world that we live in is so crazy now. He's getting criticized. People are going, you're making excuses. It's like, whoa, hang on a minute. I lost to the guy. He came in heavy. He was positive for PEDs on the night. Like, I think people should actually feel sorry for Devin. Do you know what I mean?
I do.
The world of boxing is so twisted and so morbid. There were so many going up to bat for Ryan Garcia, coming to his defense.
While attacking Devin.
Because Ryan Garcia told them to. Because Ryan Garcia implied that the Haneys in tandem with Victor Conti are the reason he tested positive for a banned substance. And no matter how many times Ryan's story changed, his fans continued to attack Devin.
For him, it must be jarring.
Regardless of the performance, which was poor, he went through a lot of that because that's probably one of the things we didn't know about Devin, the promoter said. We already know he's well schooled. We know he's got a great jab. We know he's got a good IQ. Garcia blamed contamination from a tainted supplement as the reason for his positive test results, after implying the Haneys were responsible. But Hearn said he says he never intentionally took any drug, but it was contamination. If it wasn't contamination, I believe he's probably taken that to try to help him make the weight for the fight. Garcia went in at more than 143 pounds.
We've been all through the Ryan Garcia stuff. Back over to Devin.
Why he might be taking this hard in spite of getting what he wanted. He wanted the loss overturned, and it was overturned. So why should he be upset?
Because boxing is a dirty business. It's a dirty game full of dirty people. Because the fans are fickle.
Ryan Garcia's the one who cheated. If anybody cheated, it was Ryan. You deliberately missed the weight, you tested positive for a banned substance, and in spite of this, people were attacking Devin. People were attacking him. In his own young mind, that might be jarring, that he didn't really do anything wrong, but people are choosing to go after him.
That's unsettling.
For him and his young mind, he might find it unsettling that he didn't break any rules, and he didn't do anything wrong. The guy who cheated, he's the one everybody's defending while he's being attacked. And attacked for what?
People and their agendas, man.
Even though the loss has been overturned, you cannot deny that this has stifled Devin Haney's momentum because he was on the right track. He looked good in the Regis Prograis fight, became a 2-division champion, did it in dominant fashion. Then he fights Ryan.
Even with everything that's come out, it could still be affecting his confidence and his psyche. What does he do now? Where does he go from here?
Not but a few days ago, there was a story that Devin Haney might come back before the year is out in Australia opposite the ring IBF champion, newly crowned IBF champion, Liam Barrow.
I don't think he's gonna do it.
Personally, I don't think he's going to do it because of whatever money he would be expecting to have to go back to Australia. That's one.
Does he want to be the away fighter in Australia again? That's two.
And the IBF's 10-pound rehydration cap. Unlike the other three alphabet organizations, the IBF puts a cap on how much a fighter can weigh in an IBF title fight. And the only time they waive that cap is if there's more than one alphabet title on the line. There wouldn't be more than one alphabet title on the line in this fight. It would only be for Liam's IBF.
Devin rehydrates pretty heavy.
With all those things in mind, I don't think Liam Barrow in Australia is next for Devin. I don't. I feel like when he comes back, maybe he'll come back as a welterweight.
Maybe.
Though lacking durability and punching power as a welterweight,
Slim pickings.
and we've been all through that, we know that Devin Haney is testy these days.
Yeah.
We know that he's on edge because just the other day, video surfaced of him getting into an altercation with a carny at a carnival. Apparently the carny said something that Devin didn't like, and he took a swing at him. He missed.
Guy likely said something about Ryan kicking his ass.
Devin lost his cool. He lost his composure. For a professional athlete, a professional fighter, to get into it with some guy at a carnival, yeah, you're on edge.
He probably wants his lick back.
I don't think he's going to feel settle his soul, unless he fights Ryan for a second time and beats him. I think this is going to haunt him until he avenges that loss that has since been overturned. I think Devin wants to do to Ryan what Ryan did to him, humiliate him.
Maybe he wants to, but doesn't know if he can or doesn't know if he should. People openly taking shots at him for what is Ryan's anti-doping fiasco. It used to be that if a guy tests positive for a banned substance, he becomes the social pariah. He's the one that everybody takes shots at. In this era, it's backwards. People are more morally ambiguous, holding to their agendas, whatever they are.
To the extent they're attacking Devin when Ryan's the one that needs to be under the microscope.
And remember that Devin is young. He's not fully maturated as a man. Oh, he's a man, but he's a young man.
Does it make him feel that he didn't break any rules, but people are going after him? Going after him in defense of the guy that did. The guy who did break the rules.
It's backwards.
So when Eddie says he's taking it rough, yeah, I believe him.
One, because AJ is the proven world-level campaigner. Dubois is the young fighter on the uptick. And his last two performances have really impressed. And I think Don Charles is an interesting ingredient in this, because I know that Don Charles and AJ know each other really well from back in the day. So I think AJ must be the favourite, because you can only make your assessment on the body of work that they've done. But it's heavyweight boxing, and when you've got a young, powerful, determined challenger whose confidence is growing, that's a challenge for any heavyweight at world level. So I think it's going to be I think it'll be interesting while it lasts. I don't think it lasts long. Whoever wins, I think it's inside the distance. But I think it's potentially a much more intriguing fight. A lot of it depends probably on how Dubois goes about his job, and whether he has scrubbed out the little mistakes that you could see could be taken advantage of. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's a great matchup.
Feels like Adam Booth was sort of straddling the fence there.
Yeah.
Very even in his assessment, careful to give both men equal consideration in the match.
He was right when he said that Anthony's the favorite going in. He's the favorite with the odds makers. He's the favorite to win with the fans, even though Daniel is the champion, and I know it doesn't feel that way.
Feels more like they're fighting for a vacant title than Daniel being the reigning champion going in. Daniel Dubois, who has insisted he is a legitimate world champion. He said, I won in the Filip Hrgovic fight. That was a world title fight, and I won it. So yeah, I'm a legitimate world champion, and put some respect on my name.
It's a little hard to do that when the two guys fighting for the title are two guys that Usyk already beat. He basically gifted you guys this belt. He wasn't stripped of it by the IBF, he gave it up willingly. And because Daniel won interim status in the Filip Hrgovic fight, he was elevated the champion status.
Full champion, whether or not he deserves to be, will be decided shortly. That's the beauty part. That regardless of what side of the aisle you're on right now, if Daniel really deserves to be IBF champion, he'll get the chance to prove it in a little while.
With Anthony Joshua.
Daniel Dubois, who commented on Anthony Joshua saying that he felt disrespected by him during their face-off. Disrespect is not the right word, is it? We're in boxing. Is there respect in that ring? At the end of the day, this is a fight. If you want respect, go and become a lawyer. Adding to that, Daniel has said he plans to keep up his current level of activity, having fought Alexander Usyk, Jarrell Miller, Filip Hrgovic, now Anthony Joshua, all in the space of 13 months. I think it's great having that momentum. All the great heavyweight champions of history were very busy in their primes, fighting often and perfecting their skills. I think it's the best thing for me to stay active. Better now than later when I'm old and can't train properly. I need to do it now. This is the perfect time. This is why I need to beat Anthony Joshua.
It is true. The more you do something, the better you become at it. The thing is, it's not a one-way street. Where Daniel has been active, very active in the last 13 months, so has Anthony.
This is the most active Anthony Joshua has been in recent memory in a long time. So whatever benefit there is to being a more active fighter, it's a benefit they're both receiving.
They're both going to be sharp. They're both going to be explosive. They're both going to be strong. They can both hurt each other, I think.
What I think is going to separate them is range control. I think for Daniel Dubois, it's all about closing the distance, where for Anthony, it's about managing it and staying behind the jab to set up the big right.
Or the counter left.
For Daniel Dubois, I believe it's his intention to come out hard and fast and maybe make a statement early. Hurt Anthony Joshua early. Make him gun-shy. Get his respect.
Remember that in Daniel's fight with Filip, they got off to a fast start. And I anticipate that's what Daniel wants to do here. He wants to get off to a fast start.
Where Anthony wants a slower, more controlled pace. He wants room to box, time to box, set up the punches. Even though Anthony's a very heavy-handed puncher,
He's got a boxing brain.
I don't think it's his intention to just sell out from the start to land bombs and trade punches mid-range to inside. No, he wants to measure. He wants to move. He wants to box.
He will.
Though because Daniel wants to get off to a faster start than Anthony does, I'd wager there could be some early scares.
It's heavyweight boxing.
And this won't go the distance. I'd say this fight is going to last about 7 or 8 rounds.
I think Anthony Joshua packs this guy up in about 7 or 8 rounds.
Devastating for either man if he loses. It would be devastating for Daniel to lose the IBF title so soon after having won it. But the same applies to Anthony Joshua. This would stifle all the momentum he's amassed the last year or so.
Hard questions that are going to need answers if he falters.
And that applies to both men. The price point, the official price point for the pay-per-view here in America was announced earlier today. This is only going to run you about $20.
Those are UK prices.
That is 4 times less than what you will have to pay to see Canelo Alvarez fight Edgar Berlanga.
That's good.
A smart decision to lower the price for a card that seems to cater more to a British audience than an American one.
Making it more affordable makes it more accessible to more people.
Actually more excited for this fight than Canelo's.
It's ironic that this is the less expensive show.